Hi, I'm Tim Janisewski, and welcome to our study of the Gospel of Matthew. For today, we are in the fifth and final great block of teaching Jesus gives to his 12 disciples as he prepares them to take leadership of the early church and as he prepares us here and now to live faithfully to the glory of God. Chapters 24 and 25 contain this teaching, and they are on the subject of eschatology. Eschatology simply meaning the study of the end times. Now, Jesus already has answered questions about when the Jerusalem temple will fall, AD 70. He has also mentioned with regard to his second coming or return that we should look for the signs of the time. But even that being said, we cannot know the day and we cannot know the hour, for even he, as the Son of Man, knows not that day and that hour. Only the Father does. So the question then arises, how now shall we live as we anticipate the return of Christ at that unknown hour and that unknown day? Jesus devotes a full 40 verses to answer this question. And in short, his reply or his statement concerning this is, we need to live lives of preparation. We need to be ready for forever or forever ready. We need to be watching and waiting instead of drowsy and sleepful and negligent concerning doing the will of our God and our King. And Jesus backs this up through two parables that we find at the start of chapter 25. The first one, famously known as the parable of the 10 virgins who are awaiting the bridegroom for a great wedding celebration. Obviously here the bridegroom is Christ himself coming, and the wedding celebration will be the feast of forever, when God's people, the bride of Christ, will be called to be with Christ as the bridegroom forever and ever. So let's pick up and read our parable, chapter 25, verse 1. Jesus says, "Then the kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. Now 5 of them were foolish and 5 wise. For when the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them, but the wise took flasks of oil with their lamps. Now as the bridegroom was delayed, they all became drowsy and fell asleep. But at midnight there was a cry, 'Here the bridegroom comes, come out, meet him.' Then all those virgins rose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said to the wise, 'Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out.' But the wise answered, saying, 'Since there will not be enough for us and for you, go rather to the dealers and buy for yourselves.' And while they were going to buy, the bridegroom came. And those who were ready went in with him to the marriage feast, and the door was shut. Afterward, the other virgins came also, saying, 'Lord, Lord, open to us.' But he answered, 'Truly I say to you, I do not know you. Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour.'" Well, Jesus gives us the punchline and the tale that we are the final teaching that we are to receive, the moral of the story, if you will, in verse 13. He tells us to watch, therefore, because we do not know the hour or the day. Well, how does the parable support and substantiate that? Well, if you will, these 10 virgins were assigned the task of waiting to receive the bridegroom and his group, his troop of people coming with him for the wedding and the marriage celebration. If you will, they were the welcome team, and it was the custom that when word came that the bridegroom and his associates, his entourage were with him, the virgins or the team would go out to meet him and, if you will, come with the entourage to escort for the final little piece into the wedding festival. And so these 10 virgins were the receiving, welcoming team. Well, apparently the bridegroom had been anticipated sometime earlier in the day, but he was delayed. And so all 10 of them fell asleep. But then at midnight, and once again, unexpected time, they hear the cry, "The bridegroom is coming, come out to greet him." 5 of the virgins are ready. because they brought extra oil so they would be prepared in case of a delay or a change of plan. And 5 others were unprepared because they brought no extra oil. Now, what do we find as the morals or the lessons Jesus is teaching us about living ready lives? The first one is this: we cannot be ready for somebody else, or we cannot anticipate that somebody being ready means that they can transfer their readiness to us. You saw the little part where the unprepared virgin said, "Oh, share your oil with us," and the prepared one said, "No, you'll have to go get your own because there won't be enough." The basic underlying point here is you have to be ready for the coming of Christ, the bridegroom yourself. You cannot look to somebody else to be ready for the coming of the bridegroom himself. Their readiness cannot be transferred to you and your readiness. You're either ready when he comes unexpectedly at midnight, whenever that day and hour may be, or you're not. You won't have the opportunity to turn to your sister and say, she's ready, maybe she can be ready for me. To your parents who prayed for you for years, they're ready, maybe they can transfer their readiness to me. To your pastor who preaches you the gospel week in and week out. Well, we hope that he's ready, but he can't be ready for you. You yourself have to be prepared. You have to be ready. Maybe we can steal a line here from the Boy Scouts. Robert Baden-Powell was an English soldier who began the Boy Scouts in 1908. And his motto was, "Be prepared." In his book, Scouting for Boys, I quote, You are always in a state of readiness in mind and body to do your duty." You are always in a state of readiness in mind and body to do your duty. And Jesus would say we always need to be in a state of readiness ourselves to receive Jesus should he come at a day and an hour when we do not anticipate. We're to be like the wise virgins, ever ready, ever prepared, and not like the unwise ones. One last little lesson that I think we can glean from this is the curious point about them going then to get the oil and then coming to the doors of the marriage feast and knocking, "Let us in, let us in." A response from the Lord of the feast, the marriage feast being, "I don't know you." Jesus clearly here is teaching that there is no doctrine of a second chance. We're either going to be ready for the coming of the Son of Man when he arrives, or we won't. There won't be a do-over. There won't be an opportunity to come back a second time and say, oh, I'm ready now. I wasn't ready when the bridegroom came, when Jesus came, but can I have a second shot at it here now that I am prepared? Surely what Jesus is teaching us is you will have one opportunity to be ready or not to be ready. And there's not going to be a take two. There's only one take in preparation for Jesus coming again. And I will make the application here that this is about the end of time when Jesus comes like the lightning flashing from the east of west. But I think there's an application to each of us individually. Each one of us is going to die at some point. We will breathe our last and we will face God. And at that moment, we're either ready or we're not. There won't be an opportunity to say, my mom was ready, so will you count that for me? No. There won't be the opportunity to say, oh, let me go get ready and come back and maybe we can take another run at this. No. We're either ready when Christ comes for us at the end of our lives, or we're not going to be ready. So friends, let's be ready. Let's be watchful. Again, verse 13, watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour. Take that into consideration, reread the passage, reflect, take some time to pray. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you next time.